Hey scrappers, I learned a new trick that I just had to share with you. Some of you may have seen it somewhere else, but I just had to show you. This is Alice Fung from Morgantown, Pennsylvania, and let me show you this really cool idea. So this is using the soiree set, and I did throw in the scalloped crochet border punch. I have to show you this gorgeous page, and I used vellum for this weaving technique. That's what I'm going to be showing you. I used vellum paper. I will do it in a regular paper. I'm going to show you a really cool matching trick. But I just thought this weaving idea was so pretty, and I just had to share with you how to do it. So, as I said, this was the scallop border punch, which I will use at the end to recreate the page. Let me just stick that away so I know where it is. Um, like I said, what I did was I used strips of vellum paper under here to weave. But let me show you first the soiree. It's called Spring Soiree Pack Collection. This is the paper pack. It's called, like I said, Springtime Soiree, excuse me. Beautiful double-sided paper. So there's two of each. This is this beautiful floral paper, and it has a real pretty muted pink design on the back, a tone on tone on the back. So if they're too busy for you, you can always flip to the back. This is really pretty papers. Going forward, we have, like I said, there's two of each color. Look at this, look at that beautiful pattern, that floral pattern. I just absolutely love these colors. Can't wait to use them. I'm going to have to definitely take some more pictures in the spring. This is a beautiful woven look. On the back is a yellow tone on tone. Again, here is another beautiful color pattern. On the back is a blue plaid tone on tone. And then we have our striped color springtime colors. And on the back is a more tan, almost looks like polka dots, but it's tiny little flowers. So really pretty muted tone on tone colors in this pack of papers. The collection also promotes, there is a matte pack. They've Creative Memories has split their matte packs. So instead of getting 24, you're getting 12 just so that they could lower the price for you. Sometimes people felt there were too many in a pack. This is a perfect size to me. There's 12 in the pack. They are double-sided. So here I would definitely cut these in half and use them on different pages. On the back is a beautiful saying. So when you're cutting the front side in half, you can do it on, the same thing on the back. Use each one of these on different pages. So really great for journaling, or just use the saying and the photos on the back, the beautiful embellishments. There's a saying on one side or journaling part on the other. Absolutely, I'm loving these matte packs. Creative Memories has done an excellent job making them absolutely beautiful. Oh, I love the bicycle. Here's another one. It's tiny green with little tiny daisies around it. Again, cut it in half, and then you also have the sayings on the back. Um, oh, that's really pretty. So just wanted to show you these beautiful matte pack. They also, in this collection, have a sticker pack. The sticker pack has 3 sheets of stickers in it, and gorgeous springtime icons, some spring borders. These are 12 by 12 inches long, so you can just pull them off and put them down. That would look awesome on this page in between the crocheted scallop and this border that I'm going to teach you. And they also have some beautiful spring sayings. So absolutely gorgeous. This whole package or this whole bundle really coordinates well. And then the kicker on the top, everybody loves these 3D um, borders. They are layered borders. Um, there are 12 in the pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's actually 16 in this pack, and they're layered. So they come 3D. There's some foam squares underneath the second layer. Absolutely stunning. They are going to pop out of your page. There's a set of 2 of each, which doesn't always happen in their layered border packs. They just knew you're going to want 2 of each of them. So absolutely stunning layered borders. So I am going to move all of this out of my workstation, and I want to pick a paper that we're going to use. I'm going to try, let's do this really pretty purple page. So what we're going to do, I love this purple page. I'm going to make that my background, and then on the front is going to be my strips of paper. So what you're going to do to do this border, and I'm just going to move the border so you can see it, but out of my workstation here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, because this is more of a directional piece of paper, I want to make sure those flowers are going in the proper direction. I can turn it sideways. It's not going to look as great to my eye if it is sideways. So I want to make sure it's directional this way. Um, because this is going to be my background. On the front is this gorgeous, beautiful design, which we are going to use some of these strips, and I will show you that in a minute. So I'm going to turn this so that it is, the flowers are going, they're kind of blooming upward. I'm going to put it in my trimmer at 3 inches. And I'm going to cut that off. Cut over there. Now, to prep the background of this border to weave, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the paper in at the 1-inch mark, and I'm setting it up to be able to weave it without cutting through the paper. Do not cut through the paper at 1 inch. What you're going to do is it's in the trimmer at 1 inch. You're going to move your blade housing to the edge of the paper. So the corner of this blade housing is right on the edge of that paper. Then I'm going to press down, and I'm going to bring it down to the other end where the corner of the blade housing is meeting the edge of the paper. Don't go all the way through. You want to leave that 1 inch. So I'm going to put the corner of the blade housing on the edge of my paper, press, and I'm going to go down and just bring the edge of this blade housing to the edge of the paper. Don't go all the way through. What that's going to do, when I take it out, you'll see I'm cutting a 1-inch strip, 1 inch away from the edge and 1 inch away from the edge here. So I have this opening. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to move my paper to the 2-inch mark, and I'm going to do the exact same thing again. It's at 2 inches. I'm going to put the edge of that blade housing, this whole square cartridge holder, this blade holder, the edge of that goes to the edge of the paper. I'm going to move it down to the edge of the paper here and stop. Stop, don't go through. So now what I've done is I've cut 3 1-inch strips. They're all attached, and I'm going to be able to weave paper through them. So I have that ready to go. Now, I would love to use this pretty paper in the weaving process. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to cut 3 inches, and I do want my strips to be going horizontally. So I'm going to cut 3 inches, 3 inches. So I put the edge of my paper at the 3 inch mark and cut down. This extra paper you can put aside. We don't need it now. Okay, so I have this 3 inch mark, right? So if you notice, I'm looking at my design here. Do you want your flowers to be, see the strips where it has flowers in between? I would like them to be woven through so that we can see them in the weaving. It doesn't really matter. You can see the stripes as well. But if I cut this, what I want to do is cut 1 inch strips. And when you have a pattern paper like this, it's going to be a little hard because if I cut a 1 inch strip right now, it's going to cut in between, and I'm going to have the stripes as my 1 inch strip. If I want to start so that my 1 inch is in between these pretty stripes and I get the flowers, what I'm going to do is turn it. I'm going to put the purple line of this paper right through, right at my cutting line. So, and you can see your cutting line. Don't always go by the dotted lines on your mat strip on your trimmer. Go by the line where your trimmer blade has made an indentation. Or you can look, when you look at your trimmer on your blade housing, there is an arrow right on the front of the housing, and there is an arrow on the back of the housing right in there. Also, you have, if you take the edge of your, this is the arm that holds your paper down and it holds the blade housing. Under here, take your fingernail and pull out, there's a little plastic piece right there. And there's also one on the other side. To use your fingernail, pull it down. Whoops. And these little plastic pieces have a whisker line on it. And I'm going to show you real close. It's kind of hard to see the way the video is looking at it. There's a little whisker line on there. That is exactly on both sides. There's this plastic piece that comes out. It's on all your new trimmers. This plastic piece has that whisker line, and that is going to show you exactly where you're cutting. So if I want to cut right on this purple line on my purple line on this paper, what I'm going to do is put it where I think the cutting line is, and I'm going to move this plastic piece over to that purple line and make sure by moving that back and forth, I can see exactly where my blade is going to cut, and it's going to cut right on that purple line. Well, look at that. So with that little excess I don't need, I'm going to flip my paper over and I'm going to put it at the 1 inch mark because I do want these to be 1 inch, and I'm going to cut again. Now, this made a really cute, perfect little strip of paper. It's 1 inch wide. I'm going to put that down because that being woven into my other paper is going to look so pretty. Again, I want to do that with each one so that my this one, I want to start on the green. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to pull that little whisker line out. I'm going to move it so that the green that I'm cutting, and if you notice on this particular paper, there's little tiny dotted lines. That's right where I want to cut. Those dotted lines from one to the other is exactly 1 inch. So what I want to do is put that down on my trimmer. I'm going to move the paper so it's right under that whisker line on that plastic piece. And I'm going to cut. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to cut it at 1 inch. And it should be, look at that. It's making the perfect, it is cutting it perfect by measuring. And that's exactly what I want to do. I want to get that purple line in my trimmer on that whisker line. And what I'm doing is just cutting off the little white edges in between those those two um, stripes on my paper. So what I'm going to do is cut again, and I am getting the perfect stripes from this paper. And what all I'm doing is cutting off that a little excess in between each one of these stripes on this particular paper. So if anything, you can, what you need is 1 inch strips of paper. I happen to pick a paper that I like the stripe pattern. Um, what I want to do is make it intentional of where I'm cutting those 1 inch pieces of paper. You can just take any random piece of paper and cut 1 inch strips. Now, if I were to take a piece of, let me just grab, if I were to take a strip of regular solid paper, all you're going to do is cut a 1 inch strip. So if I was going to do solid pieces of paper, so just a 1 inch strip and make it by 3 inches. So that's what you are going to need. You're going to need 10 of these, 1 by 3. So just start cutting. In the meantime, what I'm doing is intentionally, I am cutting these little strips of paper out of this springtime soiree because I just think this is going to look so pretty. And who knows, when I get done with this, maybe I'll say, nope, I don't like it as much as I thought I would. Happens all the time, and then you just adjust it. But I think it's going to come out really pretty. So, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I should get 10, 8. Oh, I think I'm only going to get 9, but that's okay because I will cut an extra one out of that paper. Okay, 1 inch. What I'm doing is measuring 1 inch. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my microtip scissors, and this is all garbage. Let me just move this. Don't need that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of these little strips. You can layer them. What I mean is put them on top of each other to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my microtip scissors or any scissors. I like these because they cut really exact. They're tiny. They're perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little 1/4 inch snip into the end, right in the center. See, I just did a little snip. Then I'm going to go from one corner down to the top of that little 1/4 inch snip and cut out that little triangle. I'm going to do it from the other side corner, and it makes a little, almost like the end of a flag. I'm going to do that on each side. So a little 1/4 inch snip, and then go from the corner to the center, and then a corner into the center, and it makes this beautiful little flag shape of your strips of paper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stack a few and do them at the same time, just for the sake of time on this video, but I also want to get them all done fast. And because I'm doing them all about the same exact thing, there's no reason why I can't just stack them and trim them all at the same time. It's a little time saver for you. If I do about 2 or 3 at a time, it's just quick. Flip it over. You're going to do right in the center, you're doing that little 1/4 inch snip. And then you're just taking your scissors. Oh, making confetti all over the place. And the reason I did this, and you probably can't see it on this particular layout because I did use vellum, which I think is so pretty up close, but it's very hard to see on the video. But I wanted to show you with paper. So I have, let me get rid of all of my little confetti here because that will end up in my tape later. Okay, so I have all these beautiful strips. Notice I have some that are edged in the purple, some edged in the green. So what I want to make sure I'm doing is alternating them as I put them together on this weaving. We have our 3-inch piece of paper, cut 1-inch lines. So there's 1-inch strips, but they're attached at the end. I left a 1-inch border on each end. If you're doing plain paper, you're going to do the same thing. Just give it a snip and go from the corners into that snip so you have that little flag shape, little banner shape. There we go. Okay. What I'm going to do is I am going to weave in one pattern. If you're using vellum, like I did on this one, see how I have vellum in between weaving? If you're using vellum, make sure you use vellum tape. You're going to put a little across that center 1-inch line. You're going to take one of your strips, and what you're going to do is you're going to lift the middle 1-inch strip, put your little banner in there, push it all the way down to the end, very end, center it. And how do you know you're centering it? You're going to make sure the 2 points of your banner are on the edge of your piece of paper. Oops, I did it wrong. We're going to do it the other way because I put tape in the middle. There we go. Push it all the way down. Actually, we're going to do one that has a flower right in the center because then you're going to see that flower a little bit more. I'm going to flip it over. Now, on the back, you're going to have the same design. You maybe finish it and say, oh, I like it better on the back. It looks prettier. So it's for you to decide when it's all done, what depending on the paper you chose to use. Make sure you put a little tape under each side of those banners so that they stay in place. I'm going to flip it over. So that's my first one. The second one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to regular tape because I'm using paper instead of vellum. I'm going to put some tape on the 2 outside edges now underneath this banner. So I have tape here and over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift that middle piece. I'm going to use one of the other colors. I'm going to stick it under that middle piece, push it all the way down so that it's woven on underneath the middle piece and the 2 ends are sticking out. And I'm just going to push it down. Now I'm going to put a little tape in the center. I'm going to lift the outer side, push it all the way down, lift the other outer side, and I have that in the center. What I'm going to do is flip it over and I'm going to add a little tape under the edges of the banner on the back. Flip it back and then I'm going to take one of these. What I'm going to do is put some tape on the outside strips. I'm going to lift that middle banner. I'm going to stick that middle strip I lifted. I take my little banner, push it all the way in up next to the woven edge there. And then I'm just going to keep doing this. Flip it over. We just want to make sure it is, I just want to make sure it is centered. Whoop. And then I'm going to put a little tape on the back side underneath that banner. And you see how I am weaving it down. It's starting to look so pretty. Again, what I'm going to do on this one is put some tape on the outside edges. I'm going to lift the middle strip and push this all the way down up against the last woven piece. This one, I'm going to put some tape in the middle because this one, the middle is going to go on top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over and put tape on the other side before I put it in. I'm going to lift the outer sides and push the banner all the way down. So, see, I'm just weaving it up and down. It's really actually coming out very pretty. Now I'm going to put tape on the outside. I'm going to lift the middle one, weave it through, and just like so. And we're going to lift the two outer ones. We're weaving it through. And you get the idea of the whole weaving piece. Oh, it's really starting to come out so pretty. I'm going to just put this green one on the bottom until I have time later to recut one of the stripes, kind of like that. There is my woven edge. If you can see it up close, it looks so pretty. Isn't that pretty? Just a different look for your page. What I did for this one is I put it down and then added that scallop border. So you can add that scallop border. You can add one of the sticker borders from the soiree set. Just looks stunning. What I'm going to do is add that scallop border punch. Let me pull this guy out because I think this is so pretty. Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite ones that just came in. You know, everyone that comes in is your favorite, but this is just absolutely stunning. I actually have a piece of vellum here. This is a strip of vellum. It's just a paper pack. They do not sell a paper pack that's just vellum or just white vellum. They have a couple. Look in Last Chance if you're looking on our website. So what I'm going to do is punch this. What I do is start the piece of paper at this little line in the front. Then I know that's exactly where my decorative edge started. And then what you're going to do, oh, I think I got it caught in here. I guess vellum is a little too temperamental. It's very, very thin. So you got to be real careful if you are using vellum. Then I'm going to move the piece of vellum down. The decorative edge is cut out of the paper. I'm going to cover, there's a design here underneath. Just cover that with your paper exactly so you can't see any of the blue, and then move it down and do it again. The reason I'm covering that is that will line up from one punch to the next. So it's a continuous, beautiful look, that scalloped crochet edge. And this one is called the scallop crochet border punch. So I'm just move this down, cover up that design. The little edge there, which has a notch on it. There's a couple little pieces that vellum is a little temperamental to work with. There we go. So I am going to put this in, covering up that design. The pieces of that are punching out are getting caught in there, and vellum is a little tricky when it gets caught. So there we go. Oh, so pretty. Okay. So let's just dump my confetti here. I have this beautiful woven border. I can't wait to see what you try. Make sure you post your designs and your layered woven borders. When you have vellum, these little edges are really hard to cover with tape. You don't want to use a glue pen. What you want to use is a vellum under under vellum, they have a vellum tape and it comes out almost like a glue and it should stick only to the paper. You might see a little in between the holes, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on. This is my vellum tape. It's the blue cartridge that just pops into your cartridge holder. The blue one is for vellum. It comes out perfectly on vellum. Um, what you can do is just put a little down your page, and that's going to hold it in place. And you're not going to see it underneath. Normally, if I was doing anything with all these little holes, I would definitely use a repositional tape because when I roll that out onto a piece of paper, it comes out. That's the green cartridge. The green cartridge is repositional tape. It comes out in tiny little glue dots. And when I run it down a piece of vellum, it is not going to show, or down a piece of regular paper. It's just going to grab onto the paper and not in those little tiny holes, which is fine. That's exactly what I would have wanted. But because this is vellum, those tiny little glue dots will show through the vellum piece of paper. So by using the vellum tape, it doesn't show as much. So what I'm doing is I put a little bit of vellum tape down underneath. I'm just going to use my little rubber pickup square, and that'll rub a little bit of that vellum tape out from in under those holes. And then what I'm going to do is regular tape in the back of my woven border. And you know, you don't need tape everywhere. Once you put your protector down, it's not even going to come up at all. And I'm just going to put this on the edge of my border. I'm leaving a tiny little blue edge of the paper behind on the outside of this. Doesn't that look pretty? Oh my gosh, I really love how this looks. So just wanted to show you this really cool weaving technique. I hope you try it. I would love to see your ideas. Make this idea, post it on my Alice's scrapbooking page. It's Alice's Scrapbooking Pals. Post it on there so we can all see the different color papers that you tried and that you used. Have a great day. Happy scrapping.